When your cat flicks their tail, holds it straight up, or suddenly lashes it from side to side, do you actually know what that means? Most people assume it. Simple. A wagging tail means they were happy. A twitch means they were playful, maybe even a little annoyed. But behind that small movement, there is something most people miss. Your cat's tail is one of the most emotionally revealing signals in their entire body. It communicates fear, trust, curiosity, stress, affection, sometimes all within seconds. And if you misread it, which most owners do, you might approach them at exactly the wrong moment. You might pet them when they were anxious, pick them up when they were overwhelmed. And without realizing it, you slowly teach your cat that you don't understand them. So let us start with what your cat's tail is really saying, because once you learn to read it, you'll realize your cat has been talking to you this whole time. The biggest myth about cat tails. Have you ever noticed your cat flicking their tail while sitting beside you? Maybe you were petting them, and suddenly the tail starts swishing. Most people think this means the cat is happy. After all, dogs wag when they are excited. But here is what is actually happening. Cats don't wag their tails like dogs. In fact, tail movement in cats often signals the opposite of happiness. Researchers who study feline body language explain that rapid tail flicking usually indicates rising stimulation, often irritation or overstimulation. Your cat isn't saying, "This feels great." They're saying, "I'm reaching my limit." Think about that for a second. Your cat rarely uses loud vocalizations to set boundaries. Instead, they use subtle body signals. The tail is one of the earliest warnings. A slow, relaxed sway can mean contentment, but sharp flicks, fast lashes, that is your cat trying to regulate the situation before they escalate to something stronger like a bite or scratch. And by the way, if your cat ever suddenly freezes their tail while staring at something, don't brush it off. We come back to what that means later because it reveals something about your cat. Yes, instincts most owners never notice. The tail is actually a precision communication tool. Here's something fascinating. A 2019 behavioral study from the University of Lincoln examining feline communication found that cats rely heavily on body posture and tail positioning when interacting socially, often more than vocalization. In other words, the tail is one of your cat's primary languages. Here is what most people don't realize. Your cat's tail communicates through three main elements: position, movement speed, and curvature. Each combination creates a completely different emotional message. Tail straight up, that is a greeting signal. Friendly and confident, tail curved like a question mark. Playful curiosity, tail puffed up. Fear mixed with defensive aggression. Behavioral scientists have observed that cats can display over a dozen distinct tail signals, many changing within seconds depending on their emotional state. But here's why that matters to you. Your cat is randomly moving their tail. They are constantly updating you about how safe they feel. Think about that for a second. Every flick, curl, or lift is your cat adjusting the emotional distance between you and them. And when you respond correctly, pausing when they show tension, approaching when the tail rises, they begin to trust that you are someone who understands their language. The tail also carries your cat's invisible signature. Now here is where things get even more interesting. Your cat's tail is just expressive. It is also chemical. At the base of the tail are scent glands that release pheromones, chemical signals unique to each cat. And when your cat approaches you with their tail raised, they're doing something very specific. They're inviting scent exchange. Here is what is actually happening. That upright tail posture exposes the glands near the tail base. It is a social signal that says, "You are safe. You are part of my territory." Studies on domestic cat social behavior have shown that cats raise their tails most often when greeting individuals they recognize and trust. Not strangers, not unfamiliar animals, trusted companions. Which means when your cat walks toward you with their tail held high, they are not just saying hello, they are confirming that you belong inside their social circle. Think about that for a second. Cats don't create family the same way humans do. They create it through scent and familiarity. And when your cat shares that scent space with you, they are quietly marking you as part of their world. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. This behavior started long before your cat met you. Here's what makes this even more meaningful. That tail language did start with humans. It started with kittens. In the wild, young kittens raise their tails when approaching their mother. It is a signal of trust and dependency. Animal behavior researchers studying feral cat colonies have observed this greeting posture consistently between kittens and adult caregivers. The raised tail communicates safety. It says, "I am not a threat. I am family." But here is where evolution did something fascinating. Domestic cats adapted that kitten-to-mother signal for humans. So when your adult cat walks toward you with their tail high, they are using the same ancient signal they once used with their mother. Think about that. Your cat isn't just greeting you. They are expressing the deepest form of social familiarity their instincts recognize. And that instinct is tens of thousands of years old. Cats don't show these signals to everyone. Now pay attention to this part, because this is where most owners underestimate what their cat is doing. Cats are extremely selective with social signals. They don't display the same tail language to everyone. Have you ever noticed how your cat behaves differently when strangers visit? Maybe the tail lowers. Maybe it wraps around their body. Maybe it flicks nervously. That is intentional. Behavioral studies on domestic cats show that tail-up greetings are overwhelmingly directed toward trusted individuals, owners, bonded humans, or familiar animals. Not visitors, not unfamiliar people. Which means when your cat lifts their tail and walks toward you confidently, they are choosing to show you vulnerability. Think about that for a second. Your cat is saying something very simple but very powerful. I recognize you. I trust you. You are a part of my safe environment. And cats don't hand that out easily. The tail also reveals your cat as most vulnerable moments. Now let's come back to something we mentioned earlier. Remember when I said if your cat suddenly freezes their tail while staring at something, it reveals something important. This is what I was talking about. A frozen tail completely still while the body becomes focused often means your cat has entered a high alert state. Their instincts have switched on, predator mode. But here is the part most people miss. When your cat relaxes that tail again in your presence, they are lowering that instinctive guard. Think about what that means. Cats are both predators and prey in nature, which means their survival depends on constant awareness. They are wired to stay alert. So when your cat sits beside you with their tail relaxed, gently curved, or softly wrapped around their body, they are doing something subtle but powerful. They are choosing not to be on guard. They are allowing themselves to relax in your presence. And for an animal built on survival instincts, that is a profound level of trust. When the tail suddenly changes, don't ignore it. Here, something every cat owner should watch for. If your cat's tail behavior suddenly changes, especially if it becomes stiff, constantly flicking, or unusually low, it can signal stress or discomfort, or even illness. Veterinarians often note that changes in body language are among the earliest indicators something is wrong. Your cat may stop raising their tail when greeting you. They may keep it tucked close or lash it more frequently. These aren't random movements. They are emotional signals. Your cat is still communicating, just in a different tone. And recognizing those changes early allows you to respond before stress or illness escalates. So if the signals change, pay attention, because your cat might be asking for help the only way they know how. So when your cat lifts their tail when they see you, do you actually know what they are saying? It's not just a random movement. It is not just a habit. That raised tail, that soft curve, that slow flick beside you on the couch, it is communication. It is greeting. It is trust. It is your cat saying that in a world where their instincts tell them to stay cautious, they feel safe with you. That is not just body language. That is your cat choosing connection over survival instinct. And that small movement of their tail, it was never small to them. And it shouldn't be small to you either.